Oh, I don't need that thing to
Pull my hat off.
I have 5 o'clock, Churchill Special Call meeting, discuss, park and recreation is now in session. Would you call the roll, Vicky?
B.D. Craddock.
Here.
Mark Drennan.
Here.
James Griesby.
Here.
Kyle Houserock.
Here.
Linda Miller. Here. Tom Kern.
Here.
Dennis Steele.
Here. Reason I asked for this special call meeting, I received a call last Friday from the mayor of the city of Mount Carmel. And then after I had a discussion with him, I received a call from the city manager, Michael Housewright. And they were looking to withdraw from our recreation program. And our agreement here, the contract, the agreement may be terminated by any participating government upon 1 year written notice to the other. I have not received a written letter from the city of Mount Carmel, which is the proper way to do this, appropriate way. And it's basically just been a verbal. But after reviewing the contract, that year, a written notice was put in place to protect all the cities. It was to protect Churchill, Seguinsville, and Mount Carmel. And I really think that we need to enforce that year and keep it in place, and that gives us a year to transition if they do withdraw from our recreation program. I hope they don't. I hope they review this again and look at it more closely for the benefit of the kids, because that's why we're in this anyway. As you all well know, we bought 68 acres down here to build a park, and I shared that with the mayor and the city manager, that once this park is built, that they will share in the same revenue as we do, because it's 3 cities that's joint venture together, so they will share the same thing as the city of Churchill does. And you know, as you guys know, because it starts here, we've really stepped up to the plate. It's set aside appropriated money to get this park going, and we want our recreation program stronger instead of weaker. So for the betterment of this city and the kids of the city of Churchill and Hawkins County, I think we just need to leave this agreement in place. If we do receive a written letter, then we review it. But like I said, that year, because even our recreation seals, everything is based around Churchill, Mount Carmel, and Seguinsville. Now, I've had a little bit of pushback about the city of Seguinsville, and it says, well, would the city of Seguinsville have to step up their contribution? I don't agree with that. You know, they came in the contract just like we did, that they would pay 20%. Am I right on that, Emily?
Yes.
That they would pay 20%. We would continue that because we want the city of Seguinsville to stay in our recreation program. We definitely don't want them to leave. And I think I've not had a discussion with the mayor, but I have had a discussion with some of the folks down there involved in recreation, and I think we're okay there for that. You know, we have to invest in our kids. I don't care what anybody says it. I've had discussions with Mark Johnson. As a matter of fact, when we start the new school year this year, I sat down with Mark. We're going to spend so many hours in each school in our community a month. I've committed we're going to do that. We've got to work out the details, because I firmly believe, if you stop and think about it, in the schools, the kids that goes to our school, they hear one side of it. If we're never there, they don't know that our police officers are good people. They really don't. We used to do that years ago. So I've asked Mark, and we feel like that's doable. So starting the school year, we're going to meet with principals and try to, you know, encourage them to let us come in and meet with the kids, tell them who we are, and even our fire chief, show them about our fire equipment. That's just good positive for the community. And I don't care how you cut it. City of Churchill, and I said this, has been blessed. You all already know that. I say that every time we meet. But it ain't just the city of Churchill. It's Hawkins County period. You know, people that know it, we get a lot of kids from Rogersville. We get a lot of kids from Segorsville. And we want them to participate in our recreation because it makes our program stronger. And I firmly believe, and statistics prove it, if a kid is in sports versus a kid that's not in sports, they have a better chance of being good citizens. In other words, they don't get in trouble as easily if they're in sports. You would probably agree that with me, Mark. So that's real critical and vital to our recreation, and we're committed 100%. You know, if they decide to pull out a year, I would recommend it because at the end of the day, we're probably not going to be here. There's going to be some good things with this park down here in our recreation program. And there's some good things going on now, ain't they, Teddy? So we're committed 100%. Plus, by leaving this in place, that allows us a year for our next year's budget to see where we're at. And it's just business. So I wanted to let you guys know because y'all seen what I've seen in the paper. And then when I got the call, that's when I decided to call a special call meeting. But, you know, we want Mount Carmel to stay in our program. We want them to succeed just as bad as they want to succeed. Because in my opinion, if they succeed, we succeed. Just like Segorsville. You know, that's the bottom line. So I hope they revisit this, reevaluate it, and stay in our recreation program. If I ain't mistaken, they just got back in the regional library, didn't they? I seen somewhere here a few weeks ago, didn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it was in the paper.
You know, and they was in that years ago, wasn't it? And then got out and back in. Well, you know, people has rough roads, you know, financially. Cities do, for whatever reason. But, you know, I really believe that our recreation program, as far as our community, is a service. You know, people didn't understand. A good example is last night. People didn't know this. Our basketball courts over there are full at night. I'd rather have them over shooting basketball is out here getting into mischief. I tell you something that really amazed me. If on a Wednesday night after church, if you drive by our volleyball court next to our swimming pool, it's so full that ain't nobody else can get on the court. And they came to me about 3 or 4 years ago and asked us to light that court up, and we did. And I know Jonathan loves his young people over there. They're over there every Wednesday night. I'm sure you've seen Tom.
Yes.
You've seen there. Kyle, I'm sure you've seen
About every night you go by there, it's full. Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we want. That's what makes a good, strong community.
I've had a request for, and I mentioned it here the other day, for another basketball
And we're gonna do that.
down in the big park.
Right, and I talked to Brent about it right now with all the mowing and everything, but when that slacks off, we're gonna build another basketball court behind the Food City in that park, and light it, encourage people to go down there. So, you know, people didn't realize it, and I know some of y'all do, and probably most of you do, but any time the school system calls, Timmy will tell you, I do what they asked on Timmy. I've never turned them down at all. Because it's part of our community, and that's what it is. Now, what I think, this is my personal opinion, that we should do is the same as our swimming pool. We charge Citizens Church Hill a certain fee, we charge county residents a certain fee. I think we need to change that and charge everybody the same. And the reason, and I really thought about this a lot, and the reason I think that we really should do it is because it will make our program stronger. The more people we get to participate in our recreation, the less the taxpayers pay, and the more secure we make our recreation program. That's just my opinion, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. And not only that, it puts every kid at the same level, whether you're in the county, whether you're in the city, or whatever. Because we want to draw in, Mark's been on the recreation board, we want to draw in as many kids as we can. Am I correct with that? That's what it's about. So, you know, I would hope that you all would support that and we'll just do it. I've looked at the numbers. I think overall, me and Timmy's had a discussion. You're probably right off the bat looking maybe $2,000. But if these people come in and participate, it could offset it, and we could even come out even better. And it's good for the city of Churchill, and it's good for the kids of Hawkins County, and that's what we're after. So, does anybody want to make a motion to do that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? I think it's gonna be good for our program, folks, I really do.
Well, I mean, the recreation program the last couple of years has kind of been down, the numbers.
Right.
So we need to do everything we can
Yes.
to try to raise the numbers up.
Certain
I mean,
sports.
in certain sports, well, in all
Yeah,
sports,
we've
all
done- we've
sports.
done others.
I mean, if it gets to the point that you can't handle it, we'll hire you some help. We want all the kids we can get.
Right.
I mean, it's not fun having teams, and you've got two teams that have to play each other 10
Right.
times to make
Right.
a season. It's a lot more fun if you've got more teams to spread out, to play different teams during the year. I mean, we can't sit back and let whatever decision the town of Mount Carmel is going to make affect our recreation.
Agreed.
Agreed.
100%.
We've got to move forward, and you know, the citizens of Mount Carmel who wants their kids to participate in her recreation department, whether they stay in this agreement or not,
We welcome.
need to know that they're welcome in the
That's
city of
right.
Churchill.
Yeah, they're welcome.
And that's the bottom line.
As you all well know, when we took the adventure of purchasing the land, next to Hospital Mills, for 68 acres. And I know that I went down there, I think Kyle went, BD, I don't know, James, Timmy was there. Folks, I'm gonna tell you something, if this is done right, and it's done over a period of time, that doesn't put this city in debt, it's unreal. We're probably not even gonna see it. But we know in our hearts, people don't understand. I was talking to citizens today. Several years ago, when we bought the old IGA building, we invested $1 million in that facility. I'm gonna tell you something, $1 million is a lot of money for this city. And you kind of second guess yourself, and the board supported 100%. We about got that paid for down there. And look what we've got there. It's unreal. A library that, in my view, is one of the best in the country. I was at the senior citizens in Roswell today. They got a nice facility, but they was even bragging on our facility. And a fitness center that we let the seniors go for free from 8:30 to 10. That maybe helps them in their health. You know, I can honestly say this Board of Mayor and Alderman is strictly community. And I'm just gonna tell you, me as a mayor and me as a citizen, I'm proud of you guys for the support you give this city. I'll just tell you up front. Tom?
Well, and we have to step back and look at the whole picture. We holler, you know, what's gonna happen at the industrial park. New adventure happening right down there, new people coming in. And housing, we can get better housing, more houses, and you gotta look at the whole picture, and your kids, and recreation is a drawing crowd. You know, we've got to look at every avenue to bring people in to Hawkins County. And if they come to Hawkins County, Churchill will automatically win by it.
We're gonna reap benefits too, just like recreation. When people come from the county, a good example is our library. We treat the citizens in our library no different we do the citizens of Churchill. And I dare to say, there's many citizens in the county that use our library as there are citizens of Churchill. And if you don't think it's used a lot, go over and stay a couple hours, you'll find out it is. You know, so that's what it's about, and I applaud y'all for doing that. So I'm like Mark, we're moving forward toward a positive way. I hope and pray that Mount Carmel doesn't just look at this as a money problem. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if we look at it as a money problem, we would do things different. We look at it as a community effort to help these kids and help get them going in the right direction so they become productive and good citizens. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, also there's too, you look at the health of the children.
Yeah.
A lot of the day, they want to sit on the couch and play games and
Correct.
stuff, you know. If you got recreation out there, the better it is, the more you're gonna have.
And I'm sure Mark done this, and maybe the rest of y'all do, but you drive around our parks on Friday evenings and look at people that's playing sports. You know, really, we help and encourage doing that.
And we've never asked where you from.
Don't care.
Okay.
Don't care where you're from. Our basketball courts, I'd say we even get people from Kingsport. And we don't care as long as you act right. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Same way with their swimming pool.
Right.
The more we get in over there, the lesser burden it is on the taxpayers, and it's a service we offer, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if y'all get a change, I think the pool opens Saturday. I just left them over there. You look at it, it's state-of-the-art pool. I mean, it's ready to go. I want to thank our employees. They've worked hard to get it clean and get it ready. Say a little prayer that nobody gets hurt over there this year. We brought on another assistant manager. That way that we don't work one or two people to death. And what we've done a little bit different this time than years past is they will be a manager at all times. They're accountable to the city. And I felt like that was necessary. That we do everything we can on the safety side that nobody, God forbid, gets hurt. And that's what we've done. So they're thrilled. We're thrilled. We're watching that facility closer, right, Emily? We're hoping that we come out maybe, we know we're going to lose a little money, but maybe this year might be one of our best years. That's what I'm hoping for. So that's where we're at. So, Timmy, the board has the blessing. The charge is the same for everyone that comes through your doors. That goes in effect now. And we'll move forward. And thank y'all for doing it.
Let me ask you one question. We had a deal about how does the football program look? Is it looking any better? I'm just curious about that when you talk.
Well, we were down last year, and again, the reason for that, I think it's just the nature of the game,
Yeah.
the attention to concussions, and but you know, hopefully we'll pick up more kids,
Good.
and kids have a lot more avenues now to play. You know, there's not just recreation. There's a lot more avenues for them to play now, and in a small area like we have, and the more kids that we have playing football, you spread those kids out, everybody, you know, kind of suffers. But hopefully those numbers will pick up this year. That's something I really can't predict.
Right.
You know, how many kids we're going to have or what we're going to look like, but hopefully we'll have enough to make the league.
Let me share something with you, and then we can close. It come to my mind. I remember last year, my grandsons like Linda's and James's play sports, and I know last year they had a child that something for whatever reason was wrong with it. So every game they would let that child get up and hit the ball, and would let him run to first base. And everybody would clap for him. That was in every game. And I applaud them coaches for doing that. And you don't realize what it meant to that kid. You had to be there and see the expression on that child's face that he was really, and he was doing something. And they would run him to first base, and that would be it. But that's what we're about. That's what the city of Churchill and our recreation program is about. And like I said, I hope they revisit. I hope they stay in with us, because if they stay in, it makes us stronger. But regardless, you know, I think we need to talk to our attorney. That's in place. It needs to stay in place, and it gives us time if they do decide to pull out, to give us time to transition for next year's budget for recreation and move on. Y'all agree? Anybody else got anything?
Has there been any follow-up from anybody, or anybody, you heard back anything from the engineers on the entrance down to the park?
I talked to Matthew Kyle last week, but I've got to give me time to think what that conversation was. But basically, or what are we waiting, you know, have you heard anything?
He is working on getting approval from TDOT. He emailed me today about working with them, so it's going.
Yeah, it's still moving.
Yeah.
So if we can get that crossing, I know I talked with, Jeremy Jones. I asked Jeremy to get involved with, Houston Electric. They are gonna take a strong look to see if they can piggyback off of Houston Mills, the other side of the railroad for the power. If we can do that, that'll save one board right there. Just to bring y'all in on it, I can't remember, I know James at that meeting, Kyle was, but we had a meeting with the engineers and the architects about the park, and we are moving forward on it. We don't like, do you think I should share that with the grant?
What part?
Well, you know, we had a year,
Yeah.
to spend the grant. I called Evan, which is our grant writer in Nashville. We really think, as long as we're moving forward, we have more than a year. We have 2 years after that.
That's, from my understanding, as long as we've got that thing under construction or.
Well, as long as we're, right, doing something. They want that park to succeed just as bad as we do. And basically, and they also know, by talking to the grant people, Evan did, they also understand too that when you're dealing with the railroad, you do it on their time, not ours. So they fully understood that. So they know what we're facing, that we're moving forward. But I really feel better after our meeting, was it 2 weeks ago? I feel better about the park today than I did 2 months ago. So we're moving forward, and we'll see how it goes. But I feel good about it, and long as we get the extension, because they understand we can't do nothing until the railroad does the crossing. They fully understand that, Nashville does, so we're okay on that. So, anybody got anything else? If not, entertain motion to adjourn.
Back.
I'm trying to come back more often.
Yeah, come see us more often. You better go weeks a year, ain't you?
I'm always here in spirit, though.
There you go.
See, you didn't move around on me.
No, I don't want to spook you right off the bat.
How are you?